What's going on, guys? I'm the Seaweed Ambassador, and today we're going to talk about Koito Uso. The most interesting part of this show was by far the premise. The idea that Japan would create a system in which they would choose who people marry just to raise the population was not only intriguing, but had the slightest amount of believability, making it seem like it could happen. This gave the show grounding which it desperately needed if it wanted the premise to work. The government agency was an interesting touch, but I really wish that was explored more. The characters from the government were also interesting, but they were all very one-dimensional. There was a past romance which was hinted at between the red and gray-haired agents, but I never really cared. I would call Koito Uso a pseudo-harem. The main character is in a bind while he tries to figure out which girl he loves more, but then episode 4 throws a wrench into everything that has happened so far. This is the biggest twist in the entire show, so I'm gonna leave a spoiler warning here. In episode 4, Nejima's best friend, Yusuke Nisaka, kisses him while he is asleep. While this comes out of left field, the show had been hinting that Nisaka had feelings for someone, namely Misaki. The wrench that was tossed in was then taken out the next episode because that plotline goes almost nowhere. There are subtle nods to it shown by the way Nisaka reacts to certain things, but it never really goes anywhere. This is one of the most disappointing things that happened, and it started off as one of the most interesting. The Anime Man made a great video about harem series protagonists and how they're designed for the viewer to project themselves onto. The main character, Nejima Yukari, has the perfect balance of having personality while at the same time having none. Perfect in this sense means that there isn't enough of a personality to give the character substance, but there's also too much for the viewer to project themselves onto. My biggest grievance was his obsession with burial mounds. It was really interesting, and I know next to nothing about them, so I was hoping to learn something from him, but of course not. Instead, it's a meaningless attempt to give Nejima personality, and it could have easily been replaced by anything else, like anime. The two girls were polar opposites in everything from character design to the way they acted. I thought Irina was a really good character. She had many complex emotions running through her, which were apparent, and she didn't need to vocalize them. In the beginning, she didn't really like Nejima and legitimately wanted to help him get together with Misaki, but by the end she actually had fallen in love with him. Misaki was, again, the complete and total opposite of Irina. She had a crush on Nejima since elementary school, but she decides she's gonna let Irina have him after Nejima's notice comes in, even though they had both confessed to each other no more than 30 minutes prior. Misaki's character development, if I can even call it that, was terrible. After finishing the show, I really don't know if she actually liked Nejima anymore, or if that was a lie. Towards the end of the show, she asked Nejima to tell her he loves her, even if it's a lie. At this point in her character, she had flipped between wanting Nejima and giving him to Irina so many times that he'd come to hate her and really not even care. It felt like she was trying to steal Nejima from Irina while wanting to be actual friends with Irina and not knowing whether or not she actually liked Nejima. However, by far the end of the show was the most painful. Towards the end, Misaki and Irina get asked to do a photo shoot in wedding dresses and model them. They agree, but right before the day of the shoot, Irina and Nejima decide they don't want to hurt Misaki, so they decide to dissolve their marriage. Nejima decides not to go to the shoot, and Misaki comes to his house and tries to figure out why Nejima is doing what he's doing. During their conversation, Nejima asks Nisaka if he's ever told a lie, to which Nisaka tenses up because he's lied to Nejima multiple times about his feelings. I was really hoping this would be the scene where Nisaka confesses his love to Nejima. Instead, Nisaka convinces Nejima to go to the photo shoot, to which he sprints. This is about where the show ends, and I wouldn't have been that upset, but they ended the show with something I consider to be a sin. The final scene in the show is Nejima with Misaki on one arm and Irina on the other, all in wedding attire. The entire scene is basically a giant sign to go read the manga. I do not recommend this show unless you want to see how not to do a romance. I did like the character designs though. I thought they were distinctive within the show, and it felt very familiar to Kuzuno Honkai's character designs, which I would give a plus because I really liked the art style and character designs of that show. Now thanks for watching this video. What did you think about Koito Uso? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you think I'm wrong and want to give me a piece of your mind? Let me know down in the comments below. If you liked this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. I'm the Seaweed Ambassador, and I'll see you next time.